What's going on, fellas? This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis than by tuning into this podcast right here, right now. Let's go. What's going on, guys? This is Rob Carbone, and you are listening or watching BD4. We're doing episode 72 tonight. Knicks lose their streak. They were on a 4-game win streak. They picked up a win in Detroit against the Andre Drummond-less Pistons. Then they lost last night, on Sunday night, in double OT to the Atlanta Hawks. I actually didn't get to catch that second game. I saw the first half, and then I saw like a condensed version of the second half on MSG Go because I was doing something. I was busy. But fortunately, I didn't get to 6 quarters of false hope, I guess you could say, only for them to choke away a lead. But we're going to talk on them, of course. We're going to, I was watching a lot of the XFL this weekend. I tried to give that, I'm giving that a try. I'm not the biggest football guy. I am a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan my entire life. I'm also a college football fan more than I am NFL. I like Ohio State. But, overall, I prefer baseball. I prefer basketball over football. I'm different. Something's wrong with me. But I did try to catch the XFL this weekend. And, I thought it was interesting. Again, as a non-football fan, it's kind of hard to get into. When it's hard for me to watch the NFL in general, it's going to be even harder to watch the XFL. But I did see some things I liked. I noticed the pace was different. It's the play clock was 25 as opposed to 45 in the NFL. And it was cool. The less flags. I'm noticing there's not a lot of penalties. It was pretty interesting though. So I guess I'm going to be a New York Guardians fan, but that was just pretty cool. I caught a little bit of that, not too much of it, but there's 8 teams and I think there's about, 10 weeks of the regular season. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do the postseason there, but it was fun. And I hope, I'm hoping it goes well. It's hard for me again, because I don't know many players, especially in the XFL. So it's kind of like, people are going to call it, the league where you go to die, I guess. But it's hard to get into in terms of that. There are no superstars out there. It's just a bunch of random, journeymen. There's some talent, but all in all, it's going to be hard to have that same star power. But I'm sure if you're like a pure football, fanatic, you're going to like it. If you could just like the fundamentals of the game, I think you'll get along with the XFL. But that was just my opinion. I thought it was pretty cool. It's different for sure. But, I hope it goes well. But, yeah, we got to talk about the Knicks tonight because, I don't know, man. It is what it is at this point. We were on a 4-game win streak. Like I said, we went into Detroit and took a W. It was a 95-92 victory. The Knicks went into Detroit without, obviously, Marcus Morris since he was traded, and the Pistons now don't have Andre Drummond since they shipped him to Cleveland. Talk about going places to die. But yeah, and they exposed them right away without Drummond. The Knicks took a humongous advantage on the offensive glass the other night in Detroit. They were a 16-3 advantage overall on the offensive rebounding. So they created a lot of second chance opportunities for themselves, and that proved to be big down the stretch, right? There was one of the final possessions actually where the Knicks were up I think they were up 2 points. They had the ball, 91-89 at the time, and somebody missed a shot, but Mitchell Robinson got the offensive rebound, and Eventually, the ball landed in Randall's hands, and he took a tough shot under the rim, but he made it. He finished in traffic, and that gave the Knicks a 4-point lead. So that was a big, again, offensive rebounding. Down the stretch, it proved to be big. It was about less than 15 seconds left at the time. Put the Knicks up 93-89, and that was really the big shot. But if you rewind a little, other guys played well too. Wayne Ellington, he's been hot, and he continued that into Sunday night too. But even before that, 17 points against the Pistons, 6 out of 12 shooting, 3 of 7 from downtown. And he hit a big shot with I think it was about 10:36 left in the fourth period. There's about 10 minutes and 36 seconds left, and the Knicks didn't have a lead yet that game. But he hit a big three, and it finally gave them their first lead. And then the two teams kind of went back and forth for a little bit, but then Ellington caught he connected on another 3-point shot. This was about, I'd say, 4:45 or something remaining. I'm just talking off the top of my head, but there's about 4:45 remaining. He hits another 3-pointer. This one, it ties the game back up. So he hit a couple of big shots, and then to finish off the game on against the Pistons, it was Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock even, and Julius Randle. Those three guys scored or assisted on the final 11 points, all between the three of them. So they were big down the stretch, as was Ellington. And again, the offensive rebounding is what really won them that game. That helped them tremendously. And the Knicks, of course, holding the Pistons to 92 points. You're always going to praise the defense for that as well. So that's my take on that game. And then we want to play the Hawks. Now, it's going to be hard to talk about this game, again, because I didn't catch this game much. I saw some of the first half, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I was busy. And then the second half, I caught the condensed version of it. But I don't know. It was interesting, to say the least. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, it was interesting. It was, it wasn't anything special. Like, the Knicks obviously fought hard. They scored 135 points in the 6 frames they played in, but I think from what I'm hearing, they had an 8-point lead with a minute to go or something in the first overtime period, and they blew it. Now, Julius Randle played 46 minutes in that one. He scored 35 points, over 50% from the field, 18 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal and a block. So you would think he had the most dominant offensive performance of the game. He was great, right? You look at the box score, and if you're someone like me who didn't watch that game, you probably think, oh, he was dominant. He was amazing. But, he ended up costing the Knicks the game. He also had 6 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. I'm sure his defense wasn't great, but, I heard he did take the ball into his own, take matters into his own hands down the stretch. And what was it, in the first overtime period or the second overtime period? Again, I'm not sure because I didn't watch it, but he tried to take the big shot for the Knicks and be their closer, and I guess it didn't go in and he missed the shot. So typical Randle, just collapsing in the clutch, I guess. But overall, I guess there were other things too to look at. Ellington and Bullock stayed hot. They actually combined for 10 3-pointers themselves. But the Knicks just couldn't stop Trae Young. The kid had 48 friggin' points, and he just dominates anywhere. Watching this kid play, I saw some highlights, and watching him play, man, he reminds me of like a James Harden mixed with Steph Curry, right? Because he's got that range that they both do, but he can also draw those fouls where he can just, move his body and get that contact just by faking and pump faking and doing that little floater. He's got a good combination of both of their skills, and he's going to be a special player. I remember a couple years ago, or even last year, before the season last year, I did not want the Knicks to draft him because, stupid little me was calling him the next, like a Russell Westbrook type, like a Carmelo Anthony, like it wouldn't work in New York. He would just take too much shots. And to the credit of his doubters, the Hawks are not a good team. They're even worse than the Knicks are, I think, record-wise. But I do think I'm wrong on Trae Young. I think he's going to be a very special player in this league as long as he can learn to tame himself and to be efficient. But he's special, man. He's got a nice skill set there, and they got a good center, a good big in John Collins. They got some young talent over there. But overall, they beat the Knicks 140-135. Knicks could not stop Young down the stretch, and that was that. So that's pretty much all I got on the Knicks. It's going to be hard to talk too much about when I didn't catch the second game. But I guess you just want to see them continue to compete, which is what they've done under Mike Miller, right? I think they're still playing at an over 400 clip under him, so they're definitely winning basketball games. But the issue here is, and we talked about this over and over and over again, so I don't want to, reiterate myself. I don't want to repeat myself so consistently, but it's the same issue. And I guess it's hard not to repeat myself because we're always talking about this because that remains their problem. So it's kind of hard to shy away from. But yeah, you still got to play the young kids. Now, I give credit in this second game here. The Knicks did play, Mitchell Robinson 35 minutes, Frank played 26. But, it was 6 frames, so they're going to get those many minutes. And you still look at some of these vets, they got a ton of minutes as well. So you got to see the Knicks start giving their youth more minutes, right? It's fun that we're winning, right? It's fun that we're 6 games out of the 8 spot, which is never going to happen. If you're delusional, please don't be delusional. I mean, just we're not making the playoffs. It is fun, but we have to keep our minds on the goal here, right? Well, it's fun right now. If we keep playing our veterans and keep prioritizing guys who won't be here next season over developing our youth and letting our youth go out there and play, it's just going to remain the same old cycle, right? It's going to be rinse, repeat, and we're stagnant right now. We're not moving forward in this rebuild process because we continue to prioritize our veterans over our rookies and sophomores and such. So that's going to, that's the only thing they need to do. That's the one thing they need to do. I'd even put that over winning right now, because winning, I want to win, obviously, but I don't want the main goal or the only goal. However, I don't want the only goal to be winning. Right now, Mike Miller, it seems like he's just trying to save his job, or it seems like he's trying just to win. Maybe it's the front office making him do it, because we've seen some of the same patterns over different coaches, but whatever it is, we've got to start giving this youth more minutes and moving forward in this rebuild process. So I don't know how long this is going to be. Maybe it's something that changes after All-Star break, but why would that happen? Maybe it's because they still think they can reach that playoff mandate, but whenever the delusional state of mind, kind of fades away from the Knicks front office, hopefully that's the day we start playing our kids and we see more minutes from Kevin Knox, despite him being pathetic. We see more minutes from Mitchell Robinson, because last night, 15 and 11 when he got 35 minutes. And this is a guy, Mitchell Robinson, I know he's got his foul issues, right? And that's something that definitely concerns me, because honestly, it's just as bad, if not worse, than his rookie season. But still, he still has the talent to go out there and be a walking double-double with 3 or 4 blocks if he can give you 30, 35 minutes a night. That's the thing. He's got the talent, so you got to hang on to him despite his lack of discipline, despite his recklessness, despite his, raw state. We have to stick with this guy and just play him. Just got to start him. It's time to start him. It's time to give Dennis Smith another chance here. Time to give Frank Ntilikina some more minutes, and Damian Dotson. Time to include Alonzo Trier in this rotation once and for all, please. Time to stop playing Bobby Portis 25 minutes a night. Time to stop playing Taj Gibson as the starter. Elfrid Payton, come on, this guy's not a starting point guard. He's decent. He's been their best point guard, yes, but again, he's not a part of this future. He's been in the league for several years, and he's been the same exact player every year. His ceiling isn't that high. Not that the other guys are, mega talented, but they're at least, for now, part of this team's future. So, I don't know. RJ Barrett's been back for a couple days. He looked good in the first game. Hasn't really done much since, but typical inconsistent rookie. He's been fine. I'm not worried about him. And that's about that, guys. I'm going to end this one about 15 minutes in. So, just before you guys go, I just want to make sure you follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter and on Facebook at NY Sports Talk RC. And you can find me on Instagram at Rob J. Carbone. And follow BD4 on all 4 different platforms. I'm on a few different platforms now. I'm on Anchor, I'm on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Follow BD4 on those 4 platforms. And then you can follow my blog, It's My Opinion, which is on WordPress. Just type in at NY Sports Talk RC.wordpress.com and you'll get there. And that's all that, guys. That's all I got for tonight. So I'm going to end this, and we're going to talk in a couple of days. We've got 2 more Knicks games before our next episode, so I'll see you next time. All right, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. Ciao. Hey guys, real quick before you leave, just want to make sure you know that you can subscribe to BD4 on 4 different platforms right now. I'm on Anchor, Spotify, SoundCloud, and the video cast is on YouTube. So make sure you find that all right in the description. And you can also follow my social media accounts, of course. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Once again, all of this is right in the description. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Ciao.